Okay, so I've done projectile motion with linear drag. Now what about quadratic drag? This really can only be done numerically, and so that's what we're going to do. So let's start off with this. So this is my model for the air resistance due to a moving object in the air. And so this is just a model. There are some cases where this doesn't work. This will work for a lot of things, though. So let's just go through the different terms. So the negative means negative. Ha, that's just a joke. Okay. 1/2. Rho is the density of the air. So for us, the density of the air is going to be, 1.2 kilograms per cubic meter. A is the cross-sectional area of the object. I guess you should have drawn a picture of that. So if if you have a sphere like this and it's moving, then the cross-sectional area would be a circle. It looks like a circle. C is the drag coefficient. This is a parameter that depends on the shape of the object. And then that's the velocity squared, the magnitude of the velocity squared. But then in order to make the air resistance force a vector again, you have to multiply by the unit vector v. So, because once you square this velocity, it's no longer true. So here's how we're going to do the numerical model. I've done this before, but I want to go through the steps just really quickly. So the number one is we need to calculate. The key here is that although the force changes, if I take a short time interval, then I can assume that force is constant, which is not true, but it works if I take a small enough time interval. So step number one is to calculate that total force on the object. So I have the gravitational force right there, mg, and then I have this air resistance force right there. So I just need to calculate that as a vector. Now I take the momentum principle, F net is the change in momentum over the change in time, and I can say this is P2 minus P1, and solve for P2, I get this. This is the momentum update formula. This says if I take the old momentum, add F net times delta T, I get the new momentum. And I can keep doing that. Now, once I have the momentum, I know the velocity. And with the definition of the average velocity, I can do the same thing with position r and get the new position. So this is a position update formula. So this is step. Number one, calculate the force. Number two, update the momentum. Number three, update the position. I need to update time also just for simplicity. And then go back and keep doing this until I am tired of it. Now, okay, so I'm going to do this for, so let's just start putting in some parameters here. Oh, sorry, this is a little off. There. Okay, so number one, I need g. G equals vector. I'm going to use a vector, 0, negative 9.8, 0. Now I need my object, my ball. I'm going to actually make a visual model here too. So it might take a little bit longer, but I think it'll be fun. So let's say it's I'm gonna imagine in my mind, it's like a wiffle ball, something light that has air resistance, but it's big enough. So let's just say the radius of that, I'm just looking at my hands right now. Let's say the radius is like 3 centimeters. So 0.03. Gotta put equals. I guess I should call this R. I'm not going to use, that's fine. I'll use capital R. I need the mass. So I'm just thinking, I'm pretending I have that in my hand. I'm going to say 50 grams. I think 50 to 100 seems fair. So let's just say this is, it's called big M. Let's say 0.05. That's 50, right? 50 grams. Okay, and if we could change it, we'd change it. The density of air, rho, is 1.2. The cross-sectional area, I can calculate that. That's just going to be pi times r squared. And then finally, I need the drag coefficient c. So if you go over here, actually I already have it up on Wikipedia. Drag coefficient, let's just see if that comes up. Yeah, there it is. So drag coefficient, here's a nice list of shapes with their drag coefficient. So a sphere, and this is just an approximation. It isn't a constant value. It depends on the speed too, so this is kind of complicated. But let's just go with 0.047 for that. Equals 0.47. I do need to pick an initial velocity and an angle. So let's say v0 equals 20. I'm making stuff up. 20 meters per second, and at an angle of, let's do 45 degrees. 45 times pi divided by 180 because I need it in radians. Okay. Now I'm going to start off with some visual objects. So let's make a ground. It'll be cool. Ground equals a box. Its position is going to be equal to vector 0, 0. Let's just put it at the origin. The size is going to be a vector. So now I need to give it the x, y, and z length. So let's say it's, I don't know how this is going to go. Let's just say 10, 0.5. It's half a meter thick ground, and then 2, and color equals color.green. And now I'd like to run it. Let's save this. Quadratic air drag. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that's the ground. See? It looks pretty good. Okay, now let's just see. Now I need to make my ball. So let's say ball is an object sphere. What am I doing? Sphere. I need a position. So I'm going to start it at, if I started at the other end of the thing, it's 10 meters wide. So that'd be -5. So let's just do -4.5. So the position is going to be vector -4.5. I should put this as a variable, and then I don't want it right on the ground. Let's just say 1, 0. And then let's say the radius might be too small, but I'll use R. And then the color, I'll just leave it as white because it'll show up. But I do want to do this. Make trail equals true. Okay, let's run that. Yes, that's pretty small ball. Let's just make the visual part of it twice the size. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, now I need some initial parameters for the ball. So I'm going to say I need the mass, ball.m equals m. I need the momentum. Let's just do this all in one step. Ball.p. So just so you know, I can add these extra attributes to the object ball, and it makes it easier to keep track of things. So I don't, instead of just calling it p and then knowing it goes with the ball, I'm going to do ball.p. It's just a good idea. So it's ball.m times the velocity, which is going to be v0 times the vector. So I'm shooting at an angle, so it's going to be cosine theta, sine theta, 0. Do I need anything else? I don't. T equals 0, dt equals 0.01, and we can change it. Okay, so now I'm going to make a loop. Let's say while ball.pos.y is greater than 0.25, right? Because the thickness of my ground is 0.5, but the center is at the origin, so the top of the ground's at y equals 0.25. So this is while the ball is greater than that. And I should take into account the radius of the ball too, but let's just go with it. Now the next thing I'm going to put rate is 100. This is don't do more than 100 calculations per second. And so that will make it in real time. Okay. Next step, calculate the force. So I'm just going to call this F. I'll just call the total force F. It's going to be m times g, not negative, because g is a vector and it has a negative y component, minus 0.5 times rho times a times c times the magnitude of the velocity. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could say v equals, let's see, ball.v equals ball.p divided by m. This make it easier to see. And then I can just say magnitude of ball.v squared. Now I need to multiply by the unit vector for the ball.v, so it's going to be norm times norm ball.v. Okay, so there's my whole force. Now I can update the momentum. Ball.p equals ball.p plus F times dt. So this again is an update statement, not a mathematical equal sign. So this takes the old momentum and makes a new momentum. Now I can update the new position. Ball.p equals POS equals ball.POS plus ball.p times dt divided by ball.m. So then I'm using the velocity. Update time, t equals t plus dt. And let's see what happens. Do you think it's going to run? I think it will. Bummer. Line 24. That's my fault. Ball.m. Ooh, okay. So let's make it go a little bit slower. Let's do 10. Even that might be too slow. Okay, that's good. Now it doesn't that looks pretty quadratic. I mean pretty parabolic. So let's actually reduce the mass to something like 20 grams. Okay, that's pretty good. 10 grams. Okay. So now if you want, that's it. Um, and if you want down here, I could do things like this. Print final position equals. And this is not how far it went. Okay. Let's calculate the range actually. Well, I'd have to put in the things. Let's put the final position. You could figure out what you need to. Final position equals ball.pos meters. And then the time, t seconds. Just if you want to know how far it went, stuff like that. Okay, so there you go. Now, the thing that we should do is try changing the time interval. What if I make this 0.1? Does it still work? So I got a time of 1 point. Let's look at the position. 2.345. 2.345. Okay, so that's not good. So let's make it even smaller. Let's go 0, 0.005. Oh, I didn't change the rate. Okay, so that's pretty close to my 0.01. So I was probably okay with the previous one. So there you go. Now, you may want to make, would be fun to do is to make two balls, and then one with air resistance and one without, and see the difference of them. The next thing that you might want to do for a homework question, this is kind of fun, is to launch the ball at different angles and find out which angle gives you the greatest range. And you can move the ball back down here to the ground and see which one gives the greatest range. Remember that with no air resistance, if you're going on flat ground, the greatest range is at an angle of 45 degrees. That's no longer true. Okay, I might make a video showing you how to do that with a function, but at the very minimum, you can work on that as a homework, and I'll talk to you later.